Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the Reelistic podcast.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
I am Zoe and I am joined with,
Nathan Howe.
And Luca Vianney.
and I hope you enjoy that episode. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you missed us because that means you enjoyed the last episode. So
Certainly does.
They certainly did.
today we're going in with some hard, heavy topics.
What are we talking about?
Well, we're discussing role of women in movies, specifically the case study being Barbie and the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, A Ballad of Some Words and Snakes.
Yeah, but I guess you could talk about any of them.
Feminism. Let's go.
Feminism.
Let's talk about it.
So,
What do you want to start with?
I want to start with, have you both seen both films?
Yes. Yeah.
I think the Barbie film is, well, we discovered this would be a good topic in last week's episode.
Yeah.
You're welcome. What were your thoughts on it? in
Which one?
general?
What, in
The Barbie
Yeah, wait.
Barbie
But
film,
wait,
or-
before we get into it, which one did you guys prefer? The Ballad of Songbirds
Ballad
and
of
Snakes?
Songbirds and Snakes.
Are we
Oh,
going?
over
Are we
Barbie.
going on the topic of feminism, or just as a
Overall.
movie?
No, in
overall?
general.
In
Overall.
general,
Yeah.
overall's alright.
Hunger Birds.
Songbirds.
The Hunger Birds. I actually prefer that one.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
As a story perspective,
Cool.
yeah.
Okay.
No, that I had that rated higher on my list. Originally, I had that in my top 5, but then I changed them last week around a little bit as we were doing the episode. But no,
Yeah.
I put Hunger Games a little bit higher. However, still very much enjoyed Barbie. I thought it was a very good film. I thought it had a good message.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
I thought
No,
you said it made you cry.
it did not make me cry.
Where did you rank them? You prefer?
Barbie, I don't think was on my top 5.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
in your top
Wow.
10.
I don't make lists that extravagant.
But if you had to
Would you,
make
though?
a list, would you put it in it? Would you range it in a top 10, or is it a mid
Only
movie?
because I didn't watch many films out of 2023. If it was an overall list, it
Okay.
probably wouldn't be in the top 10.
Okay, well, you're out. Luca?
But you'd put it in the top 10.
I would put it in the top 10.
I had it.
That's interesting, you see.
I think I had it at about number 7, number 8.
Wow.
I
That's very interesting.
well, look, I probably my expectations were right going in. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was going to be this like groundbreaking like masterpiece, but I think it was entertaining, and that's what a movie is.
I think the film overall had a way more mature direction than I originally thought it would. Like when I hear we're
But
going to
did
be
you-
seeing a live action Barbie movie, I was thinking,
Did you think it
this-
would be like an original Barbie film, but live action?
yeah. Yeah, no, so I thought I know it's very stereotypical, but I expected just singing and Pink for an hour and 45 minutes, but instead
Come on.
you had
Barbie?
like some actual like proper hi Ken.
Hi, Ken. It literally was that little bit.
Yeah. No, that's what I expected, but instead we got this more mature film. You had them talking about like the fact that they don't have vaginas and penises. Like it was like very to the point. But like I think the message at the end was very good. I think I think Billie Eilish's song at the end, "What Was I Made For?" I think that was definitely the harder hitting part of the movie.
Have you guys ever seen a Greta Gerwig movie before?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Have you, Little
Wait.
Women,
List film.
Little Women,
Uh-huh.
Lady Bird.
The new Little Women, like the Emma Watson one.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I
yeah.
didn't see that.
No, you haven't seen them. Well, they're the main two that you would have seen, really. They're
No, I
her
haven't.
big
Maybe that-
blockbuster ones,
yeah.
but okay.
Why'd
so,
you ask?
well, no, it's just because you'll obviously this was a lot more commercial than usually, but
Barbenheimer.
yeah, exactly. But I guess, no, I just wanted to see whether you had the same expectations because I feel like as a Greta Gerwig movie, this fit her style a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe not enough people have seen her movies. It doesn't make it a good movie by any means, just because it's her style.
Yeah.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to know whether you guys had sort of
No, so this so
No.
like you're saying, the approach to the
you were
movie
coming in as
yeah,
a Barbie movie,
as
first
just
and
Barbie
foremost.
movie, not a Greta Gerwig.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's fair.
Having said that, I think I really like the direction of this film. I just think it was a really good film. It was not what I expected. When I went to see it, I wasn't expecting some movie that I would
Did you cry?
properly enjoy.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. No.
Sexist.
Called out.
That was funny.
That was good. No, when I went into this film, Michael's gonna hear that back later when he edits.
Yeah.
No, when I went into the film, I didn't expect to fully enjoy it. I was more so, admittedly, going to see it just to say I've seen as many films I can that have come out this year. But after watching it, it was a film I genuinely enjoyed. I would happily watch it again.
Do you think it did what it said it did?
What do you mean? What did it get across?
Yeah, do you think
the
it got
message?
across its message that it said it would?
So that's debatable. There's two approaches you could take to that. You could take the approach of, are you looking at it as just the movie itself delivering the message, or are you looking at the social impact? Because I think
because the message should have a social impact.
Yeah. Well, see, this is where I think the message sort of got muddled. I think the message of the film itself was very powerful. However, it may have got lost in translation by the social reaction, the reaction on social media to some of the more sort of not sillier aspects, but some of the aspects such as like I'm just Ken, or like the thing where it says I'm Kenuff. Like, I feel like by no means is it a blame on Ryan Gosling. He himself has said he's disappointed that the message has been skewed a little bit by the meme.
Can
of
I say
Ken?
Yeah, that's what really
Has bugged you.
pissed me off.
Yeah.
If I can say such words.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be controversial, but I think that there was actually a more meaningful message. I mean, obviously, I am, but I think it was a more meaningful, or maybe they just delivered it better as a better message for men.
No,
maybe I read that because
No,
I am
no,
a man,
but
so I could understand.
That's what I mean.
sympathise
Is
with
I
it
think
more.
it was a film maybe having more of an impact on men. I think the part that really bugged me is coming back and like, Ken singing, "I'm just Ken." Like, bruh, shut the up.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why are we having a film about how Ken is sad that his Mojo Dojo is not his Mojo Dojo? Like, shut the hell up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
maybe I've only seen the film once, to be fair, but I was like, when I'm thinking about it now, why are we having, obviously the whole film wasn't about it. Like, the monologue in there was really beautiful. But
Yeah.
that monologue came from
So like
Ken being sad.
the way the imbalance between them was found in the first place was like Barbie Land was originally more so female dominant in terms of the power dynamic.
Yeah.
Ken then goes to the quote unquote real world, aka he just gets Americanized. He sees America for its glory, for its Americanness, and then he thinks, oh, men are all powerful. And I think, I don't know, I feel like the message there was delivered wrong. I feel like there should have been a different way
Yeah.
to, obviously you did still have the bit where Barbie talks to the real people. She sees that not everyone does have this hourglass figure. Not everyone is always like, she has to accept that silly little things like maybe not a woman's not always got her legs shaved or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think there was too much focus on the Ken aspect of them.
Like, it all started by Ken being sad because he wanted Barbie. You can't ever move on, take the L and
Well, I
move
think
on.
that was I think that was the thing that they developed the most. I think that was the thing that they did the best, was actually developing that point of, because the whole thing about Ken was that he doesn't need to be defined by having a relationship with Barbie. He should be okay being her friend. And I think that was the point that they actually developed the most, because they had that whole thing at the end of the movie where she was talking to Ken, But
No, I do agree.
but that was like the main focus of the last act.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it was focused on the man.
I think
Rather than
I
Barbie.
think what the film was trying to do was obviously you had the film start. Let's just say women on top, men at the bottom. It then went
In
to
Barbie Land.
in Barbie Land. Sorry, yes, in Barbie Land. It then had a shift after they'd been to America, and then by the end of the film, there's supposed to be this balance.
Which is fair.
Because
But it's
if
not
you
by the
if you
end,
hadn't
is
have
it?
done it that way, if you would have done it as solely women empowerment, not having anything about Ken, then maybe you would have had some people say, well, the movie's not really. Yes, it's talking about women empowerment, but then it's not talking about equality as
But
well,
that's
which then it may have also then lost the message there. But I don't think it had that balance. I think it
By the end of
was
the
about
movie,
60-40 men
Yeah.
to women.
also,
about the men
by-
to the women.
by the end of the movie, they were back where they started. The only thing that
Yeah.
happened was Ken wasn't in a relationship with Barbie. So, because the women were obviously back in power, but then the men weren't, and they sort of made like a side joke about, oh, you can have low-level positions, which is sort of like speaking about how women can have low-level positions in
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
real world. But you know, they end up exactly where they started, and it's like making a movie about if you did it the opposite way, it would be like having the men in power and then the women in lower positions, having that switch and then having it switch back, so you're in exactly the same
Yeah.
place like the real world.
Yeah.
So it didn't really
I
make
think
sense.
How
How
to
much
me
has
where
it really achieved?
It hasn't achieved anything
I-
apart from Ken's fine being a
But
friend.
this is
with
what I
Barbie,
was
which
saying
is
But
last-
good.
story-wise, though, in the actual
Yeah.
real world, it did get some conversations rolling. To a degree. Like I say, I think that
Right.
was limited by the sublime.
Yeah.
I think
Ken, like-
Yeah.
I think the conversations that it came after was how great is it we have a Barbie film for women. It wasn't what are we gonna do.
Mm.
And I think as well is what was I gonna say?
What do you mean we have a Barbie film for
Like
women?
the discussions I heard afterwards online were just like how great is it we have a Barbie film for us to be empowered. It wasn't oh my god, look at how much this has impacted people
Mm.
Yeah.
in that way. Don't get me wrong, I
What
think
does it
was
mean, a Barbie movie for us, though? Because Barbie movies
a
have
film-
more
the
so
point-
been tailored towards
point-
women beforehand
the point
anyway.
of the
animated
Barbie
ones.
film was to like get rid of like the old narrative of it.
Preconceptions.
Yeah. This film, when people came out, they were like, how great is it that we have a film that gets rid of this old narrative? But like, that was the sentence.
Yeah.
That was it. Full stop.
Yeah.
That was it. There was no
elaboration.
okay, cool, now how are we going to keep this up?
Yeah.
It was cool, we have and it didn't even get rid of that though. And I think as well, having it come out at the same time as Oppenheimer was also to me, it was such a big like two ends of the spectrum. Like it was such two ends of the spectrum films. And I think as well is like for me it was like I was really hoping to go into that like crying my eyes out, but I didn't, because I knew they were telling me, even in that monologue, they were telling me things like women can't do this, women can't do that, but like I knew that.
With
Yeah,
the
shown
with the
consent
whole
tell.
Yeah.
social media aspect of Barbenheimer, do you think that helped the movie, or do
No,
you
I
think
it
do you think it impacted it negatively? Because on one hand, it might have been better for the movie to just have its
Stand
own
on its
release
own.
schedule,
Yeah.
like its own release window, where people just wanting to see Barbie could just enjoy Barbie. At the same time, though, purely for I know it's supposed to be obviously Barbie's supposed to be a very important film, but maybe some people did just only go and see it
Yeah.
because they thought it was funny
Yeah.
to see Oppenheimer and Barbie, but then maybe they've come out of it and they've found more from
Some
it.
people were very excited that it was like people found it exciting that Barbie and Oppenheimer came out at the same time. But I think as well, oh my god, my brain is not functioning. I forgot what I was gonna say. Give me like 10
Well, okay.
seconds. Oh, I think it did. I think it did impact it negatively because I think it ended up letting people like take the piss out of the Barbie film a little bit more. Not the film itself, but like the release of it. It allowed
Yeah.
it to like get taken the piss out of as well. So I think
I reckon, and Margot Robbie sort of talked about this on one of her, roundtable things because she was a producer on this.
yeah,
So the only way that they could get this to like big audiences to have this like big budget was to make it a 4-quadrant movie. So it needed to appeal to men and women.
yeah,
I reckon the only way to make a real impactful Barbie movie is to make it not a 4-quadrant. It can't have a big budget. Like it can't be as bombastic.
Yeah.
As Little Women, I think, is a better Barbie movie than Barbie is.
yeah,
And I really think you guys should both go away and watch it because it is so good. Because there is a man in it. He's, the one of the main characters, but he's not the main character.
Yeah.
The women are, and
Yeah.
it's a story around them, and he's the sort of center around them all.
and I
Yeah.
think as
But,
well,
you know.
comparing, this is kind of going to go into two conversations here, but I think if you compare, I think the fact that I'm Just Ken won an award and the other women didn't even get nominated speaks volumes. And
Is
I
this
think,
for the Oscars?
yeah, but before that we go into that, I think I will also go in and say, if you're comparing that to the Hunger Games, which was also something that we talk about, that did such a much better. I walked out of that film thinking slay women more than I did for Barbie.
Yeah.
Because she stood on her own. What's the guy? Snowman.
Snow.
Snowman.
Snow. Yeah. Coriolanus Snow.
President Snow.
Yeah.
Coriolanus.
Coriolanus Snow.
Yeah.
They both had their own separate storylines, and it was separate. And I think I came out of Hunger Games feeling so, obviously a bit cringy there, here and there, but that wasn't. I didn't find that was like a woman is cringy. I found that was a bad acting choice and writing choice. If you compare that film, it had her on her own, Snow on his own, and they were separate storylines a little bit, and I just felt like that. I watched her and I thought, yeah. Get it, girl. But with Barbie, did I walk out of that? I felt like that, not disappointed, because I think a lot of it, this sounds like I'm an extreme feminist here, but I'm not. I don't think that that film should have been catered to men as much as it was.
What, Barbie?
Yeah, I don't think it has.
yeah,
I
no,
was
I agree, yeah.
I was hoping to. Maybe I had high expectations. I don't know. I was hoping to walk
Well,
out
I think
that
that's
film
the only
feeling
way
like,
they could have made the money back that they invested
exactly.
in. So they should have had a lower budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to walk out of that film thinking like, damn, girl, I'm gonna just like put my makeup on in the morning and feel slay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I walked out of that film thinking,
Yeah.
I feel like I just watched everything I already knew.
Yeah.
I think that's
I think that's one of the main issues as well, though. It's like you say, in order for the movie to make the money in the first place, they had to tailor it to men a little bit.
I think it's just the whole thing about.
But maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's not maybe yours and mine, but maybe the wider approach is, if this isn't tailored directly to the men, then I'm not interested. That could be a problem with just.
Well, I don't think that should have been it should have been okay, this movie's not going to make a lot of money. It will be a sort of mid-tier movie, so it's got probably like an £80 million budget, which she can deliver on because that's what all of our movies have been like. And it will be to a smaller audience. It will only make around 200 million. It will make all its money back, but it's not going to be the 1 billion.
I do agree with that, but then also this is kind of saying why they didn't do that as well. Is I think they would have had backlash anyway, because I think people might have come out being like, why do all these fucking Marvel films get however much of a budget and they only gave this budget? I feel like in a way they couldn't really win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I do agree it should have been done like that, but I think they wouldn't have won.
Barbie does everything really well. It just doesn't do anything extraordinary. And I think that's the whole thing, like the whole debate with, do you guys... So
that's one thing I was just about to
Oscars.
bring up. Like you said, Barbie didn't really do much.
Yeah.
I was about to go on to the point and say, well, maybe do you think Barbie was limited by its age rating? However, I've just searched it up. Both films are PG-13.
Yeah.
So
What
with
both
that,
films? Oppenheimer and Barbie?
Hunger Games and Barbie. Remember the case that
Sorry,
we're doing here.
I was talking about Oppenheimer.
No, the Hunger Games and Barbie were both 12As in the UK and PG-13s in the US.
If you compare those films, they are so different.
Yeah.
Obviously
they're two different genres.
Yeah.
Obviously, but in terms of Hunger Games didn't even try to make me feel empowered.
No.
It didn't even try to do that, but it did so much more.
I feel like even Oppenheimer did it better with the scene with I can't remember her name. Emily Blunt.
Yep.
In the
In the conference room.
Yeah, in the conference room. Even that, I was like, yeah, go for it. Like, fucking go. Like, I never had that moment in Barbie where it was like that. Like, you know.
I do. Yeah, I don't know. But what were you gonna say about the Oscars? Were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah.
Someone was gonna say.
Margot Robbie. There's a lot of backlash that Margot Robbie didn't get a nomination for an Oscar for
Neither
this
did
movie.
No, Greta Gerwig got a nomination.
I don't know if she got best.
There was one.
Director. But do
Barbie,
you think
Margot
that Margot's Robbie's performance was worthy of an Oscar?
I think compared to I'm Just Ken, yes. I think if you're
no, because that's a song.
That's a different category.
I'm talking about
Did you not win another one?
That was the song category.
Oh, sorry. But if you compared to What Was I Made For?
No, again,
Billie
that's a
Eilish.
song.
Wait, what are you talking
I'm talking
about?
about her performance, Margot Robbie's performance.
Oh,
So
As an actor.
yeah, so
Right.
yeah. Do you? Well, I'll start that off. Do you think that Margot Robbie, out of all the movies, and there have been some really good performances this year, out of all of them, do you think hers was a performance worthy of an Oscar?
No.
No. But if you can, but I would have expected it to have, because of, I don't think some performances are easy as like that was. a good
Was she
performance for a nominee.
nominated?
Hmm?
Was she nominated
No.
at least?
No.
I think she definitely deserved a nomination. I
Yeah.
think because I feel like when you make a nomination, I think the fact that it wasn't nominated, okay, fair enough. You might say, even if it was in the nominations category, I wouldn't have voted for it. However, I still am put off a little bit by the fact that it wasn't nominated, because that she wasn't nominated,
Yeah.
because I still think it was a performance of value. It still
Okay,
had
but-
an impact. Well, maybe it shouldn't have been nominated. Maybe she shouldn't have been nominated because that implies that you want her to win in the first place. I don't think she would have won.
Yeah.
However, I think there should be some sort of
Recognition.
category.
Yeah.
Does it
of
say?
sorts.
Does it say the right thing that just because you're shouting the loudest, there's a lot of films this year with a lot of like strong, powerful,
Heavy values, yeah.
females, and like who
Yeah.
are bringing. You know, just because you're saying like I'm talking about feminism, but you know, does that take away from the women who have tried their hardest, you know, just to be a woman in a movie? Like,
In the
does
first
that take?
place.
Yeah.
Does that take away a little bit? Because you know, only 5 people got nominated. There's the 5
Yeah.
people out of probably 10 Oscar-worthy movies.
Yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of really strong performances. I mean, Emma Stone, Carey Mulligan, you know, Sarah Huller, Lily Gladstone, Annette Bennings. Like, they're all like massive, like
I think
really good
the
movies
reason
and
people
performances.
felt so strongly about it was because obviously it's not the same, but I think because I'm Just Ken did
Yeah.
it, and I think
Yeah.
and
Well,
I
that's the
think
discussion
that's,
around
I think
it, isn't it?
that's
Yeah.
why, and I guess you're saying like they're different categories.
Well,
Because the bluntest
But
way
what
of
was-
approaching it is
Ryan Gosling got a nomination.
after doing a movie that's supposed to be about women empowerment, the man won and the women
Yeah, even though,
didn't.
but what was the
Yeah.
category that
So
with Billie
Ryan
Eilish's
no,
song,
so
or was it a
Ryan Gosling got a nomination for actor in a supporting role for an Oscar.
Yeah,
So he got a nomination. She didn't get a nomination for her as a leading role.
should he have? I know
But
we're saying
I
Margot Robbie.
reckon-
Does that was her performance
Yeah.
Oscar worthy? Was Ryan Gosling's Oscar worthy?
I think not.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I wasn't expecting her to win, and like everything changed.
I
with
think
that.
he was very good, and I think he was very funny, but I don't think it was an Oscar-worthy
Yeah.
nomination.
I think the winner should
So-
have been Michael Cera as Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I you know, it is the discussion, but maybe, you know, I don't know. There are a lot of supporting roles this year for men, and you know, off the top of my head, I can't think of them, but I think there are probably more worthy than Ryan.
One of the supporting roles, the supporting role I think that should have won was Robert Downey Jr.
No, they haven't
Oppenheimer.
not won yet. These are all nominations.
I know, but it's just like
Robert Downey Jr. was nominated.
I know, but when you're comparing the two, that's like saying,
Well, he probably will win. To be fair, I reckon.
But Do you not think, especially as well? Sorry, I had to.
Even Ryan Gosling said he was disappointed
Yeah.
by the outcome.
But I had to Google her name. Is America? Her name is America Ferrara.
Yeah,
She was the. She was.
let me look at
Why
supporting
would
role.
she not have?
Yes,
been
she was
nominated?
nominated.
Okay, she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
But supporting role, I think, is a less competitive.
In the category as well that I'm Just Ken won the nomination. Why? Can somebody really quickly research?
Oh,
What about What Was I Made For? Was that not?
Yeah, that was
must have been
nominated in there. Yes. And
But he won.
There were loads. Yeah, there were loads of really big songs from all over the year, and the fact that his one was
crazy. Not even just
crazy.
over Billie Eilish's, but just over.
It's not that
overall,
good of
to
a
be
song.
fair.
I do
And
not
I think
understand
if you're
it.
gonna compare,
I'm Just
Ken won over What Was I Made For. And I'm not saying maybe,
everything.
I think personally for me, it depends on your taste of music. I wouldn't have complained if What Was I Made For won at all. I wouldn't have said, oh yeah, it was a shit song, something else deserved it. But I think if you're comparing those two, and then I'm Just Ken also won over that, as well as Margot Robbie not even getting on the nomination, I think there's a lot that just speaks volumes. Although it's like an overall award, I just think, sorry, I'm getting really passionate.
Sorry. No, you just need to sit a bit close to your mic. Cause you're getting a bit
Closer.
muffled.
I thought I was too
No,
close.
just be at the same level as it.
Okay.
So he's just had to slump down in a chair.
There we
And
go.
continue.
I just think obviously there's a lot that goes into these categories, but I think if you're looking at it, I just think it's surprising.
Oh, What Was I Made For did win a Golden Globe, though. I think it was the Emmys that he won. But What Was I Made For has won something, which is good. But I'm
But
trying
when
to
it's
find.
up against the category of I'm Just Ken, it did it.
Yeah.
I think it was the Emmys maybe then that it didn't win at.
But like if you're.
But it's just crazy that it won any time over
Yeah.
any song. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah. I think it. Yeah. But I guess there's a lot
Yeah.
to go into it.
I think, like I keep saying, I think social media is what has negatively impacted this movie, and
pandering,
comedy and that kind of thing.
Mm.
Because you even had like SNL do a parody of I'm Just Ken with Pete Davidson, and
It's a
it's
funny
just
song. Should they have played into the humor of that film slightly less? Because look at what has happened. Do you know what I mean? Like the people are playing. The reason people are playing on it is because it's a funny song. It's jokes. Like it's funny, but that's why people are playing on it. Should they have made it a bit more of a serious film?
serious film overall. Or do you mean just that song?
Overall, I guess there's a lot of jokes and there's a lot of digs at Barbie in the real world. There's a lot of jokes of her even getting made fun of in the real world. Like, okay, yeah, that's reality slay.
Again,
but
though, you
like-
have to keep that balance of. Obviously, you've got people who have been Barbie fans for a long time. You're 20 years old. You used to watch. You're 20 years old. You used to watch Barbie. There are people who are older than you, and they used to even play with Barbies. But then you've also got younger girls and boys, and you've got younger children who are now starting to experience Barbie, but then also maybe experience even things like puberty, where you can't make it. You still need to keep that funny aspect where it's something they feel they can engage with in a positive light, but still get something out of it. There needs to be that balance.
Yeah,
it can't just be catered to that older audience.
Then I think in that case, it's like it. I would hope that this then maybe changes younger minds on it. Is that you would think that it's just it's like preparing these younger girls and younger boys for what the world is.
For how the world should be, yeah.
Oh, yeah, what the world is and what it should be.
What it should be, yeah.
Yeah, is like that because of that film showing like the real world. I would say in the sense if you're looking at it of like preparing younger minds to, younger females specifically to be like, this is what the world is like. Okay, yeah, I could see how it did that well. Yeah. For me, as someone who's already lived it and knows it, I would have liked to see something more catered to me, like in terms of like, I don't know. But then again, I can't really put my finger on what I would have wanted.
But
to see.
Barbie's been around for a long time.
Like 50 years.
How do you cater to a 50-year, like a target audience that spans.
It's a
across
very
50
it is a
years.
very
At that point, that
big
you need to
audience.
find a very niche storyline
yeah.
to
Yeah.
cover all of that.
But I think as well, it was good because I think the one thing it did make me realize is like how Barbie, the reason Barbie was created, has been absolutely like gone. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even realize. I don't think I realized properly until I watched that film. Like shit. Sorry, can I swear on here?
Yeah.
Shit. That is actually what Barbie was made for.
Can I swear? Sorry, just quickly. Can I swear on here? She has said fuck 4 times this episode already, and now you're wondering if you can say shit.
Am I actually?
Yes. Go on.
Oh,
sorry.
shit. I don't even remember what my train of thought was.
Sorry.
That Barbie's been.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was really.
That Barbie's been shit on.
Yeah, I didn't even no, not that it had been shit on. I knew it had been shit on, but it has been shit on so much that I didn't realize the original reason for Barbie.
Right.
That is crazy to me. That is how much. But it would have changed like 30 years ago. I'm only 20 years old, 21 years old. But like, I didn't even realise why Barbie was created. There were pretty dolls that looked pretty and I wanted to look like them. Slay, I'll play with them. Maybe I'll turn into them. Do you know what I mean? I did not realise that Barbie doll was created to empower me. Did I ever get empowerment from a Barbie doll ever? Absolutely not.
No, you probably looked at the waistline and maybe
Yeah.
and potentially someone wondered why doesn't mine look like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it would have been nice. Obviously, I don't know how I would have done this. This would have taken me years to plan. So come back in a year and I have an answer for you. I would have liked to maybe see this film bring back the original meaning of Barbie. But that's hard. But again, Hunger Games.
Because it's very controversial, isn't it?
But it is.
That you're
But I would
bringing
have.
up.
But like different races of Barbie dolls, disabilities have only recently been shown in Barbie dolls. So even regardless of
it
the
was
fact
only
that they're
last
women-
year that we had say for example, last year was the first time that there was a Barbie who had Down syndrome.
Yeah,
example.
that's crazy. How long has this been around for?
Yeah, 50
Yeah.
issues.
But then again, I guess you could also argue that that's a creator thing. Do you know what I mean? Like
At the end
she's
of the
been
day,
chilling.
you know, the creators of the film, you know, they care about the story, but the studio behind it just care about the money. So they
Yeah, exactly.
they made their money on
so,
it.
like, is
To
there...
them, it's a success.
But then
Yeah.
again, like, I just think it's crazy that if I compare the Barbie film and Hunger Games, I think it's crazy how I walked out. I should have walked out of those films feeling the
Yeah.
opposite to
The
one
opposite
another.
way, yeah.
So it's maybe
I didn't.
better to hide a meaning within
I think
a movie.
it is. I think it is.
than
I
make
think
it
if
all
you
about
make
the
it as
meaning.
yeah,
Well, because that
You
is
hide
what
it within
Hunger
a
Games
story.
did. Hunger Games had these, even just like admittedly, the first time that she sung, I felt a little bit
cringy,
that
yeah.
was just a bad.
I felt a bit of
writing
cringe.
error.
But getting into her character's development,
It was so good.
it was so I thought it better showed her personal strengths
She
in
did.
a more deliberate but also subtle
But
way.
I'll really quickly say this because I'm running out of time. But then I guess you can never win because I'll say this really quickly. Because if you look at Snow White, what's her name? The girl that plays Lucy in it. The girl that plays Lucy, she's playing Snow White in the live action Snow White film. She has
Oh, Rachel
decided.
Zegler.
Yes.
Yes,
She
Rachel
has
Zegler.
decided to take out the love story in Snow White because she wants to be a better image for women.
Of which this movie is also being written by Greta Gerwig, who did Barbie.
Yeah. There
Which
has
makes
been a lot
no
of
That I didn't
there has
sense.
been a lot of shit
Yeah.
on people taking out the romance and the love story of Snow White because that's not the original film.
Yeah.
So I guess the moral of the story is you can't win. Lucy has got vocal pipes. Barbie should have been written differently, and I think I felt coming out of that film very disappointed. But
That's fair.
Great.
Where my
To end on a positive
No.
note.
okay, I've got one last question to ask, and then we're gonna wrap up. If there were a Barbie 2, what would you want done differently? What if you had to give 3 key things?
Well, that's only a half-hour question, isn't it?
Yeah. No. Okay. If you had to give one key thing that you wanted, even if it was just something as simple as less screen time for Ken.
Not even
What would
less.
you want?
Not even less screen time. Less Ken being sad, because I'll really quickly wrap this up. Ken being sad is what drives the storyline. Less Ken being sad, more Barbie being happy. Not even happy. Like
Luca?
in a short word.
Oh, mate, I it's not my, topic to base around. I honestly have no idea what I'd do. I think
You had a different
Can you,
experience.
Yeah,
think of a
I've-
way
I've
it could have
said,
been
look,
approached differently?
it was a very entertaining movie for me because I found Ken funny and relatable, and I think it had
As a man.
yeah, exactly. It was a great movie if you're a man.
I think don't advertise it for something that it's not going to be.
Exactly, and I think if you want to
Lucas
make
just hit the nail on the head. For a women empowerment movie, it was a great movie as
for
a man.
Yeah,
exactly.
That has just
I
hit the
guess-
nail on
yeah.
the head.
I guess you could argue that's a good thing in some respects.
If you want to make a good Barbie film, I think lower the budget, lower the scope of the movie, make it more focused on the character, but that's not going to get your audience in there that you want.
And add in more Alan.
Yeah, and Alan. Alan was great.
We didn't
But
talk
yeah,
about Alan.
you can't get little girls in to see a movie that's a character study on a flawed person who's going through, something. I don't know.
But again, it was
It's-
catered to people who had lived through Barbie. So I guess again, that's my point of don't
Yeah.
advertise it for something it's not.
Exactly.
Okay, well then, Barbie 2.
Barbie 2.
Target audience. Should it be catered more towards the audience who has already experienced Barbie?
Yeah.
Or the ones coming into Barbie?
I think for the one we just had, the film we just had, it's better for younger audiences. So I think give the excitement that you were gonna give to the people who have lived through it.
Fair enough.
Well, thanks guys. I get to do the intro and the outro because it's my episode this week.
Go for it.
You can find us on YouTube and Spotify at Reelistic. That's REEL Reelistic.
On Spotify and YouTube.
On Spotify and YouTube. I hope you enjoyed me doing this episode and leave a thumbs up because I will do more.
Thanks, Barbie.
See ya. Bye.